Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an exciting episode of Fanzone Debate. We're here for another exciting Fanzone Debate. We've got Bill Cariola going up against Rue Moses. Looking forward to this one. Bill was the number 1 seed in the tournament, went out against Koho in the tournament. Koho went on to lose to Boatman and so on and so forth. But Bill had a good showing in the tournament. Rue, number 4 seed in the tournament earlier this year. So also a high seed, went on and lost to Boatman in round number 2. So both players saw their exit in round 2 of the tournament. And now they're back to play post-tournament actually for a title shot. So this is very exciting because both players have been in title contention, have played for titles in debate here at Fanzone. So they know what it's all about. And I'm just looking forward to it because I think their debate styles a little bit different, but both experienced. And I'm looking forward to seeing a fun, exciting, entertaining match tonight. We got Brian Michaels on the desk. Brian, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here for this one. This is one of those debates, like you said, they're both high-level competitors, which it's strange to see two of these guys so high-level, meeting on a lower level of the tournament bracket. So somebody's not going to move on, but it'll still be more entertaining for us.
Absolutely. Mark, welcome back to the judge's seat as well. How are you doing, sir?
No, very good. Feels like it's been a while since I've been here, being honest, but it's a good match to come back to. Amaru and Bill, I think we're in for a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will start by talking to the players. We'll start by talking to the lower ranked player, Rue. Welcome back. Last time we saw you, like I said, you played Boatman in the tournament in round number 2 of the tournament. Lost that one 3-2. Very close match. But now you're back to take on Bill. Thoughts going into the match today?
I am extremely excited. We have been asking all of the admins, when are me and Bill going to play in anything? And this is the one to start with. I'm really nervous. I do get nervous before these things, but I'm more nervous than usual. I don't know why, but whatever. I'm ready to go. Y'all know I talk my shit in debate. I'm great at this. And I know Bill is very good at this as well. So I'm ready to go up against him, but I'm getting this way.
Awesome. I like the confidence. Let's bring in the higher seeded player. Bill, welcome back. And let me ask you a question. So when you signed up for Fanzone, I was super excited. I think everyone was excited because it was like, oh, Bill loves to shit talk. Bill loves to talk. He's going to say some fun stuff. It's going to be awesome. But then you came in and you actually were really good at this, went for a title in your opening shot, and then were the number 1 seed in the tournament. Did you surprise even yourself, or do you know that I belong here? I'm the fucking best at this. What do you think, Bill?
Oh no, absolutely. It's ridiculous. So to be clear, I should just mention my shit is never researched. This is just what fucking bad ramblings managed to fall out of my head. So it's just weird. I don't know. I guess a bullshit a good game. I don't know. I'm used to arguing. I grew up in an Irish and Italian family, so there were some barbs. So, and this should be fun. Although it will be really respectful today because 3 years is 3 years. We have never managed to be on the other side of the desk against each other. It's always been he's a host or I'm a host, or it's never occurred. I am so thrilled. The true winner today is the internet. I don't care who wins the match.
Love you, buddy.
The other thing that I just thought of off of the cuff here is that both these players, like I said, did challenge for belts last season in 2022, but both were against Kirk Kowalkowski, and now he's not at the end of this. Cody Newberry is, so that might add a different level of flavor too when the players, whoever wins this whole thing, gets to the title match. So I'm interested. Let's get into this. This is how it's going to work. The players drafted categories from Fandom and Melee. Then myself, along with the other judges here and the other Fanzone people, gave them questions. They then gave us answers to those questions, and they're going to debate them tonight before our very souls. They will each get 1 minute to open their arguments, followed by a 5-minute freeform, followed by a 1-minute closing. And then at the end of the debate, Brian, Mark, and I will write on our handy dandy boards who we thought won the debate. Best 2 out of 3 votes wins you a point, and the first person to 3 points wins the match. So, Bill, Rue, any questions as we get into the debate?
No.
Nope.
All right, let's do this. All right, we are going to kick this off, starting with Bill, because he's the higher ranked player, with his first question, which comes in the category of action in the melee side of things. And your question is, what is the best action scene in the 4 main Ip Man films? So, Bill, you get to kick this one off because you drafted it. You have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
First off, these films, all 5 stars, no notes, peak cinema. I don't give a fuck what you think. But when I had to go through all these movies recently, because it was just a delight, and I was thinking, like, which one's the best? And I immediately go to the tabletop fight scene in Ip Man 2. In the scene, it is Donnie Yen. First off, world's toughest man, Donnie Yen. That is his legal name, just to be cool, just to record. It is him and another Kung Fu master. I believe it's Hung Chung Nam. And the idea is like, hey, you want to prove yourself, you want to get into the society, you got to, best him in a fight, but you have to do it on the top of a table. And the table is not connected, so it's wobbling all over the place. And his opponent has like an easy 150 pounds on him. And what happens is one of the most beautifully choreographed, visually stunning, simplistic fights I probably have ever seen. And it is just 2 absolute masters of the craft going at it. And it is 3 minutes of a sight to behold. You'll thank me later.
All right. We're going to move over to Rue. Rue, you have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
The thing about all of Ip Man's fight scenes in all 4 movies is that they usually depend on a lot of flash, a lot of stunt work, great choreography. So all the action scenes are great. The thing is, the 10 versus 1 black belt scene in Ip Man 1 is the only one that has that cool factor, but also has weight. It also has stakes. Ip Man just walked in and saw that a Japanese general has killed one of his other masters in cold blood. And he comes out and says, yo, give me 10 now. And he proceeds to come in and whoop ass. This is the only one that shows how deadly of a master he actually is, where they start off surrounding him and one guy tries to jump kick him. He grabs him, throws him to the ground, and then stomps on his face. And the sound design of just the crunch every time, you feel all of it. And then he just dodges 2 different people, kicks from everywhere, jumping people off. The actual weight and depth of this beautifully choreographed fight is like any other.
Time. All right. Gentlemen, 5 minute free form when one of you starts talking. I will throw up the 1 minute warning when the time comes. And if I feel like you're rambling on too long, I will throw up the let's move on. So 5 minute free form when one of you starts talking.
No, go ahead.
So as I was saying, like, there's everything in this fight. He dodges 2 kicks, takes another dude's kick, makes him split, and then breaks his legs. Fights 4 dudes at the same time, blocking one, dodging another, and kicking the other one. He is so deadly. He does the chain punch, and his chain punch. They do a slow mo, a zoom up to it as he gets the guy to the ground, and it shows the intensity of not only does he hit his face, but his face hits the ground. It's so deadly. The last dude is scared for his mind, and instead of giving him mercy, Ip Man grabs him, turns around, and just starts punching him in the face. The actual weight of everything in this fight scene is so much more than your tabletop scene, which, again, just really is like every other scene that just does flash and stunt work in choreography.
So the reason why I'm going with mine, and I know you keep going on to, like, there's a lot of weight in that scene. That may be. But the thing about this scene that I picked, and the reason why I went with it, is because while in that scene, yeah, he's whooping all those dudes' ass because of course he is. They are hopelessly outmatched. If you put me in a wrestling ring with 25 10-year-olds, they are not going to win that fight. And that is exactly what happens when Ip Man walks into that room. He's clearly got all their numbers. There's no real, like, at any point do I imagine this guy is in a dire way. Whereas we go into this one, it is him and another master. And you see it in the scene, first off, like the guy's got 150 pounds on him, and he immediately uses his way to his advantage on this uneven table. And I am the world's biggest lay for an unconventional like fight setting to where they are on the tiniest slab. It is the smallest piece, and they can't knock it off, and they have to stay on that table, and they are blow for blow perfectly matched. They are going around, they are whipping. Like at one point, they're actually using the table they're actually using the environment in the fight to their advantage, but neither one of them is getting ahead. And it's just some of the most wonderfully done fighting I've ever seen. And he even has like a better use of the chain punching because it's two guys doing it and they cannot land a hit. And it is going like, I think they threw 387 punches in 20 seconds.
The problem with that is with your fight, you know they're not going to do anything once in the middle of the film. Second, he's already fought other masters of their craft in the movies before. And if you look at the movies after, both of those scenes in 3 and in Ip Man 2 and in Ip Man 4 have much more stakes. Like he might get his ass beat, especially against the boxing master. In this one, you talk about the chain punch. When they do the chain punch around the table, you know it feels like an exhibition because what it looks like is when two dudes like who can't fight are going against each other around the table. There's you know that there's going to be nothing here because you could tell it's an exhibition. You can tell that one is not going to up the other. While the minds are so important because it's not about the fact that he's going to lose. It's the fact that this is going to show for the rest of the series how much that this man is actually so deadly, how beautifully choreographed everything he can do, and the fact that he is able to rein it in the rest of them is made his character more impactful because this scene is the one that does that. On top of that, not only is it the sound design great, it has a haunting score. It is lit so it looks like it's black and white, but it's not because everything is so weighty. Everything feels dangerous and essential because of how much he is so mad that he saw that guy happen, while your scene is just like every other scene throughout the rest of the series.
I mean, your scene is like every other. There's like whole scenes where he fights an entire warehouse full of 40 dudes, and like he doesn't even break a sweat. Just like he's not breaking a sweat in your scene, because that's what this guy is. Like he is the absolute best. And the reason why I always go to my scene is because in all those other scenes, he is fighting guys that are nowhere near on his level. Where in this one, he has gone through several guys that are on his level, and now he's at the guy that is absolutely on his level. And you see it in both of their faces during the fight. They're trying to like get ahead, they're trying to outmatch, and they're trying to think ahead. And like every time, both of them has an answer for it. And it is just like watching the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. And it is just some of the most wonderfully, and the whole scene is shot, especially when they're going around and the camera's whipping around with them. And you just see, and the table is wobbling. And it's just like the whole time, it's a very you're uneasy watching it. And that is a hard thing to do when like, you know, like conveying that just in visual in an action scene. And it is masterfully done. Also, I mean, not to make the joke, but the person who had to operate some of Hung's wire work, you should get a raise. Because
that's the issue with your scene. You talked about my scene is just like the warehouse scene, but the warehouse scene, he's fighting with somebody else. And also, again, it's based on stunt work and slow motion and wire work, which makes it feel like it's not actually real. Mine is the first one where he fights multiple people and there's no slow motion. There's no wire work. It's all him.
Oh, no, there's tons of slow motion.
There's no slow motion in that at all. It is nothing but him. You talked about the camera work in yours. It is so edited that it goes up front, over here, this way, that way. And you can see it's Donnie Yen. Then it's the stuntman who plays Donnie Yen. Then it's Donnie Yen again. Then it's the stuntman who plays Donnie Yen. Not in mine.
Time. Okay. We're going to start with closings with Rue. Rue, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
There's a tabletop scene in Ip Man 4 that deals with a bowl of soup and people's hands that is just as interesting as the tabletop scene is his, because it's all about flash. It's all about making it really cool to look at, but no stakes, no weight, no depth. That is exactly what happens in all 4 Ip Man movies. The only time that you get that cool, that you get the ability to show Donnie Yen beautiful choreography, that you know he's going to beat these dudes up, but you also get stakes. You also get the weight of this actual fight could happen in real life. That tabletop scene, Cool as it may be, it's never going to happen in real life. My fight will, because you feel every punch, you hear every crunch, you see that he's fighting 4 people at once. He's putting actual fear in people's hearts because he is so mad, and he is beating up on every single dude with ferocity and no mercy. While the tabletop scene is cool to look at, but you know, oh, this is a cool exhibition of one guy against another, and there's 3 other scenes just like it in the rest of the series.
Rest of the series. Striking from the record. Let's go over to Bill. Bill, you have 1 minute to close your argument when you start talking.
I mean, to be clear, the scene he is pitching is also very highly edited, and they're using a lot of trickery. There's also, I know he harps on like the sound design. It is borderline cartoony. Some of the effects that they use, it kind of takes me out of it. Personally, that's just me. And also, I mean, there's not really stakes because you know he's going to win this fight. They are hopelessly outmatched. Whereas in my scene, it doesn't necessarily need to look real. I don't really care. I don't watch these movies because I want to see real life. I want to see some cool shit. You know what I mean? Like the first time I saw The Matrix, that shit was awesome because it looked cool. I want to see some unbelievable things. And watching 2 guys, especially one that has like a good 200 pounds on the other guy, fighting on an unfastened table and then having to not only balance, but fight your opponent. And he is fighting a guy who has like asthma and who everyone clearly like looks at and goes, oh, no, I got this guy, but you don't because he is a master. And they are both just so evenly matched. It's like watching a chess match with fists. And it fucking rules. I love you, Donnie Yen.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna bring in the judges.
Donnie Yen is a G.
Oh, he's fucking so great.
Fucking G.
Like, as soon as you put this in, it's like, fuck, that is a great scene. Like, son of a bitch. Oh, I need to watch these again.
I figured the tabletop would be next.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
I've been meaning to watch these.
I almost went with the Mike Tyson fight, to be clear.
All right, judges ready?
Yep.
I'm gonna go first. I went with Bill. I thought that both pitched really cool scenes, and I thought that both did a good job of kind of explaining why their scene was cool, exciting, but we were looking for best. And I thought that Rue spent a lot of time kind of tearing down the fact that like Bill's wasn't realistic. It couldn't happen. His could happen. And I thought that Bill's closing was really strong, where he just said like, I'm looking for, like, when I'm looking for the best scene, I'm looking for what's fucking awesome. And this scene is fucking awesome. And so I went with Bill, but I thought that both did a really good job. If this is what we're in for the whole night, then whoo. Brian.
Yeah, this is a good start, but a hard one, because it's like every time the other person started talking, I changed my mind of who was winning the debate. So this was rough. Honestly, it's really close. It's also hard to compare them because they picked 2 such different scenes. One's basically a one-on-one, 2 masters scene fight. The other one's like one against many, which are both cool in their own ways. I ended up giving just the slight edge to Rue. They both gave great fight scenes, but he kind of talked about how his is kind of extra cool because it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the series. And it didn't rely so much on wire work and stuff.
All right, Mark, you're deciding.
It didn't happen that way, but yeah, I did go with Bill. I feel like I mean, I'm kind of like echoing. I think what you said, Tim. I think where they kind of pitched, like I think two like I think kind of like you guys said, they kind of pitched 2 different types of fights. And I kind of side a bit with Bill, a little bit with like, well, he's being thrown like a bunch of guys that are definitely under him. Like he's 100% going to come out and win. And I think he did kind of win me over. Like I think one of the last things he said in his closing, like I go into these movies, I just want to see some cool shit. And I think of the 2, like Bill pitched the cooler scene.
Okay. So Bill wins the first point. We're going to move on to the next question, which was drafted by Rue. Lots of comic book stuff tonight. I'm very excited. So Rue drafted Marvel, specifically Captain America. And the question is, which scene featuring Captain America has the best dialogue? So, Rue, you get to kick this one off. You get 1 minute when you start talking.
It's hard enough to write dialogue for one comic book character who's a hero. It's so much harder to write for six that have their own personalities, and none of them are brought down in any way. All of them are made to become the best version of themselves through that dialogue. And you have a scene that is intense, that has humor at the right time, that has a lot of quips, but also just has a lot of dramatic weight on top of that. And it really sets the tone for what not only this movie, but the MCU is as a whole, and it's the Avengers argument in 2012 Avengers. This scene balances 6 different personalities to show them exactly what they need to be at that time, to show as a team they can't come together until they figure out their differences. But each and every single character is able to be their best selves at that time. Cap is able to show he's no longer just a man at a time. Iron Man is able to show he's no longer the warmonger, but he's quick-witted. Nick Fury is trying to control the room. It's just so many different things at once that is beautifully.
Oh, thank you, Rue. Okay, so we're gonna move over to Bill. Bill, you have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
What is it about Captain America that we all love? Whether it's his unwavering just bravery, or at his heart, his compassion, or that he will always, in the face of anything, always do the right thing. And when you want to summarize, like, at its core, who that character is, who he is as a person, I decided to go with the less is more approach, and I picked the I and only bully scene from the first Avenger. And in the scene, it's him and Erskine, and Erskine's clearly giving him a test, and he asks him, he's like drilling him, like, hey, what do you want to do? You want to go over kill Nazis? And he just basically says, no, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from. And in one sentence, you managed to encapsulate everything of who Cap is as a person and why Steve Rogers was the only choice to become Captain America. And yeah,
Time.
I wasn't gonna get out in time. I'll just wait.
I've you guys warm my soul. I fucking love Captain America. Okay, well, 5 minute free form when one of you starts talking.
Here's the issue with your scene. Yes, we love to see Cap do what he does. He always does the right thing. But the thing about him is he does the right thing when it's the hardest. And the dialogue specifically in this scene is extremely heavy-handed in terms of setting him up to say something. The second he says, 1, do you want to kill Nazis? Or 2, is this a test? And he answers yes. It's like the MCU is saying with the dialogue, hey, let's give Cap the best thing to say right now. Not what we normally want from Cap is when it's a tough decision, when it's a hard decision, when he's doubting himself, presenting dialogue that presents why he's the greatest. And that's why the later scene of Erskine saying, be a good man is a better representation of what you want, because Cap has the doubts. But the dialogue in neither of those scenes is up to the point of the dialogue in mind, because, again, it balances 6 different people, and not one moment of that 3 minutes is it intense, is it weighted. The comedy doesn't bring it down. And, again, as I said from the other ones, not only are those 3 characters able to present themselves in the best selves, but also Natasha is able to quit back and forth. Thor is showing that he's over everybody and saying there's a higher form of war, and showing he's the kind of the man out of it. And the best person in the whole thing is the Hulk, and how angry, how much that anger is always bubbling in him. The dialogue he has is absolutely brilliant.
So here's the thing. While your scene is fine, don't get me wrong, it leans too much into the Joss Whedon, everybody's got to make a quip. Make sure everyone gets their tight 5 in, because it's the fucking Catskills routine, which is fine. But like, and I know you say they're balancing 6 people, and I feel like he kind of twists them slightly just to make them fit the joke he wants to tell. And that's always kind of bugged me about Joss Whedon. Now, I know you point out the scene where he says, like, Erskine's just like flat out telling him, like, oh yeah, no, this is a test. And like, what is happening in this scene is Erskine is fascinated with, like, why is this guy who's clearly never going to make it? Why the 5 tries? Why do you keep trying? And he asks him, he's like, do you want to go kill Nazis? And then Steve is basically just says to him, is this a test? To which Erskine, who realizes in this moment that, like, hey, if this is this guy who I think is as good as he is, I'm going to have to trust him, and hopefully he will trust me and tell me what I'm hoping to hear. And he tells him, yes, this is a test. And then he hears the answer he wants to, he has been looking for. This is the guy he's been looking for. And he basically goes on later where he's like, he believes this Aaron will take good and make it great, but bad and make it worse. And he needed to find the person who is pure, who is compassionate, who is good. And that is Steve. And that is a hard thing to do in a 2-minute scene. And this movie does it perfectly. Yours is basically a stand-up routine, which is a funny stand-up routine. If this was funniest dialogue, it would win. I don't think it's best, personally, just for me.
You talk if Erskine wanted to actually trust him, he wouldn't serve that up and say, yes, it's a test. And you talk about jokes, the whole thing, I'm from Queens. He comes in, Erskine being a joke. What ends up happening is it's serving Erskine up as just a pedestal. It doesn't really give him anything to do but set Cap up to knock something down that is obvious that we're going to see. We know what kind of man he is. That dialogue doesn't do anything with any kind of nuance and any kind of subtlety. It just says, yo, let me give this to him very easily. All of that is done much more better in a lot of the dialogue later. You talk about mine being nothing but quips, but Cap saying the computer was moving too slow for me, or that perfect beat
Quip.
where Nick Fury says, why do you have these weapons? And he's like, him. And it brings you into it. And again, going back to the Hulk, when later in the movie, he says, I'm always angry. This dialogue he's given that sets him up saying, I was doing fine in Kandahar. You know what? We're not a team. We're a time bomb. That little subtle pause in that dialogue right there shows everything about their characters and builds them up, while yours is just a serve on a silver platter and the dialogue doesn't do that justice.
All those things you named are quips, but they're all quips. Like, they're fine and they're funny, but they're quips. And I know you keep saying served up on the silver platter, but it's a very delicate back and forth, and it's a hard thing to convey in 2 minutes with minimal dialogue. And they are and this is like a mastercraft in the scene. Where I know you say, like, he's serving up the easy answers. Like, no, he wants to know who this person is. And while we have seen it, Erskine needs to be convinced. And it is that one sentence, that one moment, that one piece of dialogue where we all are explained what Cap is, who he is, and what he believes and what he is about, and he proves it to Erskine at the same time. All diluted down into 3 or 4 perfect sentences for Cap.
Time. Honestly, I kind of wanted to let you guys go 2 more minutes. Bill,
You can if you want.
I mean, I guess it's up to me at the end of the day. Technically,
it's your show, Ace. We'll do what you say.
That's fair. Technically, 2 more minutes because you get a 1 minute closing, Bill.
Fair
and
enough.
We're gonna start with you. 1 minute when you start talking.
So, the helicarrier scene, while funny, I wouldn't say is the best, mostly because Joss Whedon's kind of hackney, let me make everybody be a fucking John Cena quit machine, just bugs me a little bit. And that is kind of what is happening in this scene. And it's fine and it's funny, but I wouldn't put it best. Whereas my scene, the reason why I'm putting it as the best is because it distills exactly who Cap is at his heart, at his core. And it demonstrates that to another person who is maybe a little like hesitant after the whole Red Skull incident. He's praying to God he can find the right guy. And he brings this kid in and he's fascinated. It's like, why all these 5 attempts? Like, you clearly are not getting in. And then he realizes as soon as he said that, he's like, yes, you know what? Maybe it's time for the little guy to join the fight. And they bond later. And it's all from this moment where Erskine trusts him and says this is a test. And then Steve says, I don't want to kill anyone. I just don't like bullies. Chef's kiss.
Time. All right. Man, you guys really make me want to rewatch some stuff. 1 minute when you start talking, Rue, to close your argument.
It's easy to convey all that for Cap when one guy comes in and doing the quips that Bill says he doesn't like, talking about, do you want to kill Nazis? Yes, it's a test. I'm from Paramus. The dialogue in that scene itself does not serve up the ultimate purpose we want for Cap. The dialogue is the one that makes it way too easy and way too heavy-handed. There's no subtlety. There's no nuance. All that comes later in the be a good man's scene. While as my scene, it might be quippy, but the quips don't come as as quickly or as rudimentary as any other Joss Whedon scene, like in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Every single minute of that is a scene that conveys these guys are not going to like each other. These guys have different motivations. They have different personalities, but it shows exactly where all of them are. It shows that Cap is ready to be the leader. It shows that Tony Stark is no longer the warmonger. It shows that Thor is the man out of place. It shows that Nick Fury and Natasha are trying to manipulate everybody, but most importantly, it's showing that Hulk is the one that is so angry. He's always angry inside.
Lord.
This one hurt me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. This would hurt me a little more than the Ip Man fight.
Yeah.
Oh, as soon as you said that, I was like, "Fuck! This is gonna be kicking water uphill." Oh,
Is that Dialuge over there? Dialuge?
no one cares.
Oh,
It wasn't a fucking spelling contest.
Whoops.
Don't hold that against me.
Extra point for Rue for pointing out the spelling mistake. Oh man, I'm having fun. I don't care if I lose. It's fine.
All right. Mark, you decided the last one, so you're kicking this one off.
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one to Amaru. I think I think I feel like I do think they pitch both good scenes. I do think at least throughout the fight, Rue, I think kind of fought the question a little bit more here, and I think like is kind of pitch, and I know Bill throughout like kind of the quip saying that one. I think Rue had some pretty decent response for that one. I think just as a whole, whenever we were talking about just like the best scene that involves Captain America, I think Rue pointed out enough stuff that had me go him.
Okay. As I said many times, they did a really great job because they made me want to watch these movies. I love these movies. So, and like I said from the top, I love Captain America. There's a lot of options they could have gone with. And honestly, like there were ones that I thought of when coming up with the question that weren't brought up at all. So this was interesting. I gave it to Rue. I think that Bill did a really good job of kind of like he made me with his scene. How do I say this? I think that at the end of the day, Rue did a better job of putting down the quips thing, which for the first half of the fight was Bill's main attack. I think he kind of saw that Rue was kind of chopping that down pretty hard and kind of tried to go away from it. But then Rue was even able in his closing to say like, the parts of your scene that you keep talking about, those are quips themselves. So like, I thought that was a really good hit. I think this was really close, but I think Rue did just the better job at the end of the day of why the overall scene, the dialogue balanced between so many different characters was the best. But both were excellent picks that I didn't even think of. So, Brian, your vote doesn't count. Where would you have gone and why?
I also voted Rue. For most of the same reasons. I know. I think that it's in addition to being quippy, which, like you said, Bill was kind of attacking that, but Rue, pointed out why it wasn't just quips. There was more to it. Whereas in Bill's, his argument is that you really learn something about the character through what he says. In Rue's, he explains how you're learning something about every character in that scene in this conversation.
All right, so Rue wins the point, which means we're all tied up 1-1, and we're going to move on to the next question, which is in the category of DC, drafted by Bill. The question is, which Batman villain would make the worst person to be stuck on a trip with? This is going to be fun. Bill, you're going to kick this one off. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
So when I saw this question, it was the easiest answer in the world. And a little peek behind the curtain. In the chat, when I was answering, I typoed the name of my character because I went with the Riddler specifically from the Batman, but I typed Riddles. And you know what? I'm going to fucking call him Riddles because I hate this dude. This is like the absolute worst person to be stuck with for any extended period of time. In the 2-minute scene where he's being interrogated, I wanted to basically, I wanted to just push my head out my own window and then pray to God my neck would get slit so I could just bleed down the side of my house. Everything about this guy just screams whiny incel. And there's enough of these people on the internet. I don't want to be fucking stuck in close quarters with is possibly just the smelliest nerd of a fucking mediocre white man. Get me off that train. Run me over with it, please. Thank you very much.
Time. All right. Rue, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
Whenever you're on a trip, you want to get three things. You want comfort, you want safety, and you want to know when it's time and it's nothing to do, can you pass the time? And there is one villain that gives you none of that. Whether you're in a car driving, whether you're on a plane, or whether you're on a train, whatever, Danny DeVito's Penguin from Batman Returns is never making you comfortable. He's from a sewer. The man is going to smell the entire time. He is going to continuously eat like a slob and make you uncomfortable. He's going to hit on everything near you and make them uncomfortable and put you in danger. On top of that, let's say you're in a car and he doesn't like something you're doing, or somebody makes him mad, or you're on a plane and somebody bumps him. He's going to bite them. He's going to bite you. He's going to attack people and make them put you in situations you don't want to be in. He's going to want to bring his circus crew along. I don't want none of that. And he's not going to be able to help you pass the time in any way, shape, or form, especially if you're in a car. That would no.
This is fucking awesome. All right, and I did go back to the chat just to make sure. He did say riddles.
It's riddles.
Riddles from the
Fuck this guy.
5 minute free form, and one of you starts talking.
All right, you're gonna complain about bringing the circus gang, like the Red Triangle or whatever. I don't care. Like, this lovable bunch of fucking crazy, insane people that look like a deformed circus. You know who my guy's bringing? Fucking 4chan. Do you really want to be out in public with the people that put a bunch of fucking Pepe the Frog fucking t-shirts that are going to fucking wax on about how diversity is fucking killing everything, or about how the Barbie movie is fucking cultural Marxism and is trying to indoctrinate the youth, or he's pissed off at a fucking Bud Light can? You know what? Bite me on the fucking nose, please. I would gladly get bitten on the fucking nose or have some dynamite thrown at me rather than listen to this fucking incel whine about fucking ethics in games journalism for what would probably feel like 9 fucking years of my life.
He will not bring any of those people with him because the dude is a loner. You can see that he's a loner because all those people are behind computers. That's how he met the people he had. You talk about like the MAGA or the people doing the political stuff. Look, I just had a trip with my MAGA cousin. You know what I did? I didn't bring up politics. I didn't talk about it. What the Riddler is going to do, he's going to do one of two things. He's going to be awkward and stay silent, which is beautiful. Or if he wants to talk, you know what I'm going to do? Fam, give me a riddle. Let's solve this. Let's pass the time. That's what I want to do. That sounds a lot more fun than fearing for my life and having to smell the sewer and having to hear 24/7 and having to explain, yo, like he's a misogynist. He's gonna go up your skirt. Like, go away. I don't want to carry that around with me ever. I'd rather have to deal with a delicate situation and conversation than fear for my physical safety.
You're telling me my guy's not a fucking misogynist? Like, come on. Let's face it. Just to be clear, here's the thing. I could get some Febreze fucking plugins for my car and be fine. I grew up in Philly. I swam in the Schuylkill. I am fortified in liquid shit. That does not bother me. Whatever. And not to mention, he may come from a sewer, he has a gang, but you know what he also is? Inadvertently fucking rich because he had rich parents and he inherited a lot of money. So, you know what? I'll put up with whatever the fuck he's doing. I'll get him a bib for his fucking bile that comes out of his mouth. I'll fucking laugh at his jokes. I'll take him to a strip club. I can kind of handle this. I can't handle somebody fucking regurgitating QA nonsense to me for any length of time. And you're saying that he's a loner? No, he's not. He had the fucking Insta army show up at the end. All in the roofs. Like, they're coming out. They're in the bushes. It's fucking Charleston all over again. They're going to come out in the khakis. They're going to come out with their fucking tiki torches. You know what? I'd much rather hang out with a bunch of fucking circus performers. Maybe we could set up a tent, set up a sideshow, maybe make a quick couple scratch. What are these guys going to do? Pee when someone talks to them or get nervous when, like, you know, a minority is around? That's what's going to happen. I don't want any part of that.
They never met until after months and months of posting videos about, hey, we're finally going to meet. We're finally going to do this. He is a loner, and he's so much of a loner. He's not going to have time to be misogynistic because he's too damn awkward. He's too damn scared to go up to talk to women. So you don't have to worry about that. Next thing you talked about is Febreze. Febreze in a fresh car smells much better than Febreze over shit. Come on, dude. And then you talk about the rich part of it. I would much rather have to deal with somebody and have a conversation with somebody and avoid the weird politics than be seen with somebody who's a rich douchebag. Rich douchebags and Kanan are kind of almost side by side. I'd rather not be seen next to somebody who's a rich douchebag and have me be considered a rich douchebag and have to explain over and over, my bad, don't worry about him, than just have to actually just intelligently be like, there's something I can connect to with this guy, or let me just make him do a riddle. I'm sorry, but none of that holds water.
Dude, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not in the third grade and I don't like, you actually pitched riddles as the thing to pass the time. I think I would rather have my dick tied to the fucking tailpipe of the car and I'd be dragged to our destination. Just leave me outside. I'm sorry. Like, I'll take rich douchebag over ready to commit a fucking hate crime over here, which is what this dude is.
You might actually end up with your dick tied to a tailpipe cone next to the penguin. I'm sorry.
And you know what? I probably had it coming. I don't know. Here's the thing. That guy had a rough life. He got abandoned by his family. You just pitch that sob story, set up our fucking fun carnival, and just get some women.
Time. Oh, this went in a direction I was not prepared for. Okay. Rue, you're closing. This was Bill's question. So you're closing first. You get 1 minute when you start talking.
We are a bunch of guys online playing movie trivia and debating about movies. Of course I want riddles. That is going to be fun as hell. That is what I want because it is what I enjoy. I much rather be around somebody who is either going to not talk and not bother people and not bother me or have me do some riddles and some fun things to pass the time than somebody who's going to put me in physical danger, who's going to put my nose through the trenches, who's going to put my ear through the moist, I'm just going to say moist again, sounds, having every single person around me want to hurt me, kill me, threaten me, because I have to make up for all the biting and the scratching and the skirt pulling and all of that. You know who I have next to me? Sorry, anybody else. I have Donald Trump next to me, that tall. I want none of it. Fam, please let me have a guy who doesn't want to talk and wants riddles over somebody who's going to put my safety at risk.
Time. Okay. We're going to bring in Bill. Bill, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
I notice you keep saying that you want somebody that's not going to put your safety at risk. You do know he tried to flood the fucking city and murder everybody in it because why? He has like a made up fucking like complex that he's actually, oh, I'm really the oppressed person. Oh my God, look at me. I had it hard. Blah, 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 and all this horseshit. If you spend 8 fucking tenths of a second on the internet, you know exactly who this fucking mediocre garbage of a white man is, and I don't want to be around him for any length of time. Give me the guy that grew up in the sewer. I can pitch that. Not only like it's fine. You say, hey, look, hey, he's had a rough life, but he's trying to make a go of it. He's got a whole fucking crew. He's doing things. He's running for mayor. We're having parties. We're doing fundraisers. He's got some money. Like, once you took him out of that and actually cleaned him up, he was kind of okay. Like, you know, and then Batman fucking ruined it because that's what Batman does because he's a fascist. But seriously, just like, it's fine.
Time. You just had.
Man, I had to throw that in there. It's just too funny a line.
It is the line. I haven't seen the movie yet because I had COVID, but it is the
Blue
line.
Beetle is great.
I hear it's awesome, and I'm super excited to see it, but I hate that fucking line so much. It makes
I've heard a whole bit on why that whole bit. It's actually really funny. A whole stand-up bit about
I know that there's people who are taking it to the extreme, but it's like it's bullshit. Anyway, but I'm very excited to see the movie. I hear it's very good. Which, to be honest, saw the trailer for Blue Beetle, thought it looked like booty. So the fact that it's actually good, I'm very excited to see. Yeah, Mark, I saw you didn't like it, but I'm looking forward to watching it this weekend. So
I think I'm the only one I know that doesn't like it.
That's fair.
I'm just excited. Jaime Reyes is in a film. I never thought he'd live this long.
Honestly, that's part of my thing too. Is I'm yeah. Anyway, Brian, enough about Blue Beetle. We're talking about fucking politics. Go ahead.
Great. I love talking politics. No, the thing about this argument is that they both tried to minimize the other person's pick by talking about how they basically changed, like, oh, well, if you don't talk politics with him, he's fine. Or, oh, if you clean him up, he's fine. And it's like you kind of have to offset each other. So basically, it's dealing with them as they are. And I actually voted for Bill. Honestly, he had me very early on in his opening because he reminded me why I hated that fucking movie. And it was because of the Riddler and because of that character, and he painted a great picture of that, especially that interrogation scene when he was at his absolute worst. And it's like he painted this idea of sitting next to that guy for an entire road trip would make me want to jump out of whatever mode of transportation I'm in.
Ave Maria.
God, I hated
it. Mark, tell us, why do you hate the Batman?
Oh,
it's a joke.
Can't do that. I did go Rue on this one. Yeah, there we go. Make sure it doesn't shine. I gotta be honest, is Bill was kind of going through, kind of maybe trying to knock down Rue's choice. It felt like you were doing a lot to like kind of make the Penguin a bearable presence in the car. Like I don't know. Like I feel like if you just avoided some stuff, the Riddler would probably be fine. But I feel like Rue just kind of kept pounding us with just what seemed like awful reasons, like to just hang out with DeVito's Penguin for any amount of time.
Great. I get to decide this one. I love that. So I think these are both great picks. It went in a direct. To be completely honest, I haven't seen the Batman since it came out on Blu-ray. I watched it. I saw it like 4 times in the theater. Fucking loved it. When it came out on DVD or Blu-ray, I watched it once. Haven't seen it since. And I will never watch Batman Returns unless I'm absolutely forced to. I do not like that movie. And so it's been a while. So when Bill started kind of laying into the Riddler on like the political type of angle, I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot that was kind of like a whole thing with him. So this was, I thought they both did a really good job. I went with Rue. I thought that Brian said the cleaning up of the other person stuff didn't really work for him. It kind of did for me, in the sense that it worked when Rue did it. I thought that Bill's whole thing of like, put a bib on him and he'll be fucking fine. I was like, no. But when Rue was like, Rue made a very good point where he was like, if you're with someone that you disagree with politically, religiously, whatever it might be, you just don't have to talk about that type of stuff. Change the subject. I thought
that's all he talks about.
I thought that was really
That's
smart.
what I'm thinking.
I thought that was really smart. That happens to me all the fucking time. I disagree with everybody about everything. So I that hit home with me. And then I thought that his jab about like, because Bill said the thing about like, oh, really? Riddles? Like, that's what you're going to fucking go with? And Rue was like, yeah, fucking riddles. It's a car game. It's something I would enjoy. It's something that can pass the time and make a good person, to be honest, stuck on a trip with. So I thought that was a really good hit, that the riddles actually like are something that are part of his personality that is maybe a fun thing channeled the right way. Whereas there's nothing that really could. Although I will say the funniest thing that was said in the whole thing that made me die was getting your dick tied to the muffler of a car or whatever, dragged across that fucking killed me. Maggie walked in right when I said dick tied to a muffler, so that was fun.
I would like to say I'm glad that he addressed the fact that he put riddles in the chat, because otherwise I would have jumped on him for being the second person to argue a different answer than he put in the chat.
Because I was like talking it over, like, oh yeah, here's the question. It's like, did you mean to type riddles? I'm like, no, but I'm running with it.
I'm
Fuck
going.
that guy.
So Rue wins point number 3. That means that Rue is up 2-1. He does need to hit this next question in order to stay in it. Or I'm sorry, Bill needs to hit this next question in order to tie it up and send it to the bonus question. So the question was drafted by Rue in the category of crime. The question is, what is the best Danny Ocean moment in the Oceans trilogy? Rue, because you drafted this, you get to kick it off. You have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
The funny thing about Ocean's 11 is that it's called Oceans, but Danny Ocean is usually never front and center. It's usually like Rusty who's doing the talking, Frank Linus or Saul who's pulling the con, the Malloy twins or Basher being funny. But we never doubt that Danny Ocean is the leader because he controls the room. He is the one that we know, oh, that's the guy that everybody gravitates to while he's being really, really low key. So when I heard this question, I was like, wow, he doesn't actually have many moments. He's usually in the background until I remembered the scene in Ocean's 11 when he comes into the celebrity poker game and absolutely dominates the entire room. He comes in, Rusty surprised that he's back. He quickly just calmly says, hey, I went to jail. I did this. Real calm, real collected. He ends up being the funniest, suaviest, and doing most in control because even Rusty, as the poker game is being played, thinks he's bluffing. Rusty says it is a bluff, and Danny Ocean just says, 4 of a kind. And I think that Ace kicks it.
Time.
Smooth as hell.
All right, we're going to move over to Bill. Bill, you have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
I think for me, my favorite, which I think is just the best moment, which encapsulates who Danny Ocean is. It's the collecting of the bet at the end of 12. And if you're not familiar, the whole movie is around this him and his crew being pitted against this other Trulu. I'm going to fuck that name up repeatedly. It's fine. Who wants Trulu wants everyone to know he's the best, and he wants to prove that he's the best. And he wants to beat Danny Ocean, and he's going to do it. And it's this whole film of him antagonizing them, and it's a race to find out who can steal this egg. And then he thinks he's won. Trulu's won, and he gets back to his house. And Danny is there with Tess, and he's like revealing his whole master plan. Like, oh, I did all this cool shit. Oh, I fucking stuck here without any equipment. Oh my god, I did this. Tell me I'm the best. And Danny's like, yeah, you're the best. Now give us our money because we actually did it. Like in a nutshell, and it is such a fucking boss, and it's great because you are also not in on the fact that this was already done. It's wonderful.
Time. All right, 5 minute free form when one of you starts talking.
Here's the thing: your moment isn't Danny's moment. It's Talor's moment. It's Talor like showing that he's not the one guy that has all the cards. That's why we get a 1.5 minute capoeira scene of just him. And if you want to talk about Danny just quickly like doing something you don't know, he doesn't do anything in that scene. It's Tess. It's Tess who is silently making you feel like, oh wait, what's happening? When she goes silently and then gives him a look, and Danny relays it. And she goes, and when Danny says, all right, give us our money, it's Tess who looks at him silently. It's Talor's moment because he's lost, and it's Tess's moment because she's the one that says, aha, we got your ass. While it's my moment, he controls the entire scene from celebrities and from Rusty the second he gets in there and proves it when he wins that hand really calm, cool, and collected.
See, here's the thing. And there's the reason why I don't put it as Danny's best is because he knows full well what he's doing. And Rusty knows full well what he's doing. It's coded back and forth for like, we are in on this together and we're going to play these fools. Because in the scene before, we're watching a bunch of who are now C-list, hapless actors trying to play a game that they don't understand, where Topher Grace lays down all red cards. Of course, Danny Ocean's going to come in and fucking house these guys. It's honestly, it's the master fight from Ip Man with the 6 black belts. It's like Danny Ocean's Ip Man, and they're the fucking black belts, and they are hopelessly outmatched, and they don't even realize it, and they just goofily hand over their money. And I know you keep saying that this is a True scene, but it's not. He is the punchline in that scene. And it is Danny who basically owns him in that scene. He knows this guy is an egomaniac, and he's feeding him what he wants. He's stroking his ego. He's letting him have his moment. And just as he goes through this whole crazy master plan of how great I am, Danny's like, we actually did it 2 days before. It was just a simple thing where you may be the best thief. I'm the better planner. And in that moment, Danny proves it. And it is fucking boss, sir.
The punchline is the moment. The punchline is the moment because, again, Danny is in the background. All the things you said Danny is doing, Tess does for him. Tess does it when she is the one whispering to his ear. Tess is the one who says, we can tell him that he won. Okay, we won. And they do it at the same time. It is not the It Man moment in the poker scene because it's not Danny against the 4 celebrities. It's Danny against Rusty. Rusty is coaching them through trying to win this hand. It is Rusty doing his job, trying to teach them. And he's the one who says, you want to fold here. That's a high bet. You do what you want. I think he is bluffing here. It is Danny versus Rusty, if you want to make it that way, with them just on the sidelines, watching these 2 masters at work. One who's trying to bloviate and try to keep control of his room. The other just sitting there like, go ahead, do what you need to do. I'm going to just win right quick.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't think that scene is that at all. I think it's Rusty who's thrilled. He has his friend back because he hates doing this. And you're saying he's trying to coach them through it. I think he's trying to goad them into a loss. He's playing to these people. And Rusty knows it. And he knows exactly what the coming of Danny means. He's going to get out of this because what is the next scene? I am so bored. I am bored doing this. I hate doing this. And Danny shows up, and it's their scene together. It's not Danny's best moment. It's probably one of the best moments with the 2 of them. But I think, and you even said it yourself, like Danny doesn't have a lot of moments. And you keep saying like Tess is, and they're there together, but it is Danny because that's the one he's going after. He's not going after Tess. He was going after Danny. And Danny, in that moment, gets to say, no, I actually won. But that was really cool, all that shit you did. Why don't you tell me how you did that capoeira stuff just to dig it in a little? And it is just such a wonderful character moment that he doesn't get a whole lot of. And right there, it works gangbusters because, like True Low, the audience was not in on this. We didn't know this was happening. And it is genuinely a fantastic swerve that I don't think it's talked about enough. I know this movie is hated, but I really think it's mediocre until this moment, and this moment saves it. And it is absolutely Danny's moment to shine. And he comes through with just a few simple words. And then you watch this cool capoeira guy crumble and then all of a sudden become petty and angry.
The only reason the audience doesn't know and isn't in on the trick is because we just watched Tess play Julia Roberts and get utterly manhandled. Talor screwed her just as much as they screwed him. So all of this, we thought they lost. We just got off a Tess getting handed a major loss. So all of that attention, again, is coming from her. It's her moment, helping Danny be the guy who controls the room. But the only reason we know he can control the room is because of my moment. You said Rusty is in on it. He's not. The second he walks into that room, he's like, and he's thrown that Danny's there because he didn't know he was going to be there. You could see Rusty's demeanor the entire time is like, man, you got caught, and now I'm stuck doing this, and now you just want to come back. You can tell when he says what's his face asked, what did he go to jail for? Rusty says ceremony head mask.
I think you're wrong.
He's the one who does it.
What you see is Rusty's now giddy because his friend is back, and he knows he's going to pull him out of this hellhole of having to placate these rich pricks. Whereas you keep saying that, it's also Tess's moment, and Tess got no, everyone was in on this. They knew exactly what was happening the entire time. They were playing out this elaborate prank just to get him, and it's
Tess
fantastic.
had no idea. Tess had zero idea. That's why she smacked him in the car after Linus's mom pulled him. Tess had no reason to know, and she was pissed. So now she's like, ow, now I'm in on it. Now I'm going to play coy. Rusty isn't giddy. Rusty isn't giddy until after the scene because he's still kind of mad that Danny left him there in the lurch to do those.
They're in on the whole poker thing now.
All right. We're going to start with Bill for closing.
Yep.
Bill, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
I mean, the poker scene is fine, but it's again, they're in a room fighting children. They are way outmatched, and there's no real stakes in that moment. It's just a funny little way to introduce me, but also rekindle the friendship. And I'm sorry, like there's no way that they are not completely in on it. And Rusty is guiding him to just fucking these people over, and it's fantastic. Whereas the moment at the end with Rouleau, and then Danny gets to be the one to deliver the line, "Give me our money because you didn't beat us," and because it is so much setup for just the gut punch of, we had it all along. You did all this for nothing. We did all this show just as a subterfuge, just so I can have this moment to tell you that now you're gonna have to give me the money now. So you were pretty foolish. And we watched this cool, suave villain get crumbled, cut down, and is just a shambles in like 3 words. It's wonderful. Danny's moment.
Time. Okay. We're going to move over to Rue. Rue, you have 1 minute to close when you start talking.
It's Talure's moment because we see all of what Bill just said. We want to see Talure crumble. So that's a great moment for him and his character to come from such a high place and go down. It's Tess's moment. Tess is the one who was brought in and completely failed and was pissed off because Talure put her in this position to think that Danny is going to be going to jail, and she is. So now she's the one who's the audience. She's the one who's carrying Danny's suaveness and coolness, and she's presenting it by whispering in his ear and then presenting everything with him. And it's Danny who's in the background because the entire series, he is in the background. And we found out he's in the background because of my moment, his best moment. I've shot down that Rusty is in on it with Danny because the second he walks in, he is utterly surprised that Danny is there. And throughout the poker game, he is trying to out-talk him and outwit him. Every question that the celebrities has, Rusty has an answer for it, and Danny just sits back and he just plays. And he just says, this is what I got. This is my truth. And when he puts that hand down and he said, ace is the kicker, you're like, oh my gosh, that is why it's called Ocean's 11, because he can control a room with no words.
I forgot about the scene where she slapped him. I forgot all about that. Like shit. Yeah.
I know Rue loves these movies a lot, but am I?
I do too.
Am I?
I'm the world's easiest.
I like 13 the best. Is that like a controversial take?
No, they're all fine. There's no wrong answer. So
12.
Give me 11. Give me 12. Give me
11. 12.
Give me 8. I loved all of these.
I like Ocean's 8. I think it's fun.
I'll tell you right now, two types of movies. If you pitch this to me, I'm going. Fucking heist and time travel. That's it. If you give me a time travel heist movie, fucking please.
That's fair. I'm sure it exists. Okay.
Time travel heist movie called Endgame. Yeah.
Time travel heist movie. That's why that movie made $5 billion.
There we go. Okay. I'm going first, huh? I haven't seen these in a while. I watched these last during COVID, early COVID, like mid 2020 with Maggie. She had never seen them. So we watched the trilogy in a day. It was magical. Might be watching them more soon. Hint, hint. I went with Bill. I thought that, again, and to be clear, I haven't seen them in about 3 years, but prior to that, I'd seen each movie maybe twice a piece. I have not seen them a lot. So I don't know them super well to the point where it took me a second to be like, Brad Pitt is Rusty, right? Yes. Okay. So I thought that Bill just overall painted the picture to me of why the Danny Ocean moment in 12 was the better moment in the trilogy. I think that both did a good job of explaining their scenes and kind of giving me the image in my head of what the scene was. I just thought that Bill did the overall better job of better, but I am one of 3. Brian, your thoughts?
This is another tough one. It was almost a coin flip for me because they were both good ones. Neither one of them are the moments I would have chosen, but they're still good picks. They argue them well. I did vote for Rue, so Mark's going to get to decide who wins this one. I I think it just came down to, I think that Rue did a better job of shooting down Bill's attacks better than Bill did with Rue's. I don't think either person presented their case any better. I just think it came down to the defense on it.
Okay. So we're gonna move over to Mark. Mark.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to sudden death. I had to go with good old Bill. I feel like I think for a lot, I don't know. I didn't really buy a lot of Rue's attacks. Like I didn't really feel like it was Tessa's moment or like Toulour's moment. I do kind of feel like this is all about kind of Danny and the crew outsmarting Toulour in that moment. I also do think Rue, I think you did misrepresent your scene a little bit when Bill kind of called that out, because Rusty is 100% in on that.
No, he's
not. Like,
that's my opinion.
He's trying to get him to throw money in the pot 100%. Like, so I feel like as a whole, I think Bill just kind of pitched like the better moment, at least in terms of kind of showing how Danny is the better heist guy in this Oceans universe.
Okay. So we are all tied up. I love it when we're tied up and it's because one player hit their opponents and then the other player then hits their opponents. It makes it fun because then they're angry at each other. Or are they just angry at us? Who knows?
I think they're just angry at sudden death. As soon as they saw that, they both went, fuck.
Yeah. So here's how sudden death is going to work. I randomized the side of Fanzone that we would be talking about, Fandom or Warzone. I mean Melee. So they had no thought of us at all when they changed that name. The side that was randomized was the Melee side of things. I then randomized the remaining Melee categories that weren't drafted already for this match to come up with a question. I'm going to say the question, then I'm going to repeat the question.
Quick question.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Would it be possible to take a quick timeout? I have to piss so bad.
There will be time to do that, yes.
Cool, thank you.
After I'm done with the rules.
Yep.
So the audience at home is going to know you have to piss, Bill. So after I repeat the question a second time, you can say your answer, and then once the first person says their answer, they will be going first. Second person says their answer, they will be going second. You will get 45 seconds, then 30 seconds. Do we have any questions?
Nope. I did this once before.
Okay.
Oh, I've done this so many times.
All right, so we are going to get into the bonus round. You guys don't have any questions about how this is going to work?
Nope.
Okay, so like I said, the side of a fan zone that was drafted was Melee, and the category that was drafted, can't wait to see your faces, was Oscars.
Again, that was literally my last one of these, but okay.
I think this question will be a little bit easier. I'm trying to make these nicer, but your question is, what is the best picture winner at the Oscars? Again, what is the best picture winner at the Oscars?
We get to research these real quick, right?
You can.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Beautiful. All right.
Moonlight.
Okay.
Damn it, I haven't seen that movie.
A couple of recent picks. I am going to stay on screen, gentlemen, for this. So Bill picked Everything Everywhere All at Once. Rue picked Moonlight. So Bill, you're going to get to kick us off for what is the best picture winner at the Oscars. Bill, you get 45 seconds when you start talking.
What the Daniels managed to do in Everything Everywhere All at Once was not only craft one of the funniest and most visually amazing films I think I've ever seen, but also somehow used this whole idea of a multiverse as a metaphor for generational trauma and how much that affects us and how much that impacts all of our lives in everything we do. And the performances in this, especially of all the mains, is just heartwarming and breaking and funny and scary all at the same time. It is a goddamn achievement that they managed to make this movie. And not only that, but it got every minute of all of the accolades that it deserves because it is perfect.
Time. Okay. Rue, 45 seconds when you start talking.
You want to talk about impact, the impact of generational trauma, the impact of knowing your identity, the impact of growing up in poverty, of having your mother not love you, and have it shot so beautifully in 3 different timelines with color palettes that match the tone, with performances like Mahershala Ali and Miles Brown and Trevante Rhodes having 3 different characters play the same guy, and you see the hurt and pain grow into hope, grow into love, grow into everything, and all the struggles he had going with his mom, played beautifully by Naomi Harris. And the beach scene alone is better than Everything and Everything Everywhere All at Once, where Jarrell Jerome, it just the silence that you get in that. Everything is felt, from the sound, the acting, the visuals, everything.
Time. Okay. Bill, 30 seconds when you start talking.
You feel that in all these performances too. I mean, we have basically Short Round, who left acting altogether, actually became a stuntman, and they plucked him, put him in this movie, and he fucking won an award for it because he is goddamn mesmerizing. Because he, at the same time, he is just soulful and sweet and loving and caring, and can also kick some ass because that guy did all of his own stunts, and it's fucking incredible. The movie is also gorgeous. There's just like everything is just like absolutely just pure imagination on screen, and it's fucking brilliant.
Time. Okay, Rue, 30 seconds when you start talking.
Sure, but Jamie Lee Curtis also won an award, being the 5th best out of that category. There are chunks of time in Everything Everywhere that is just way too much overload. It's way too quirky, and you're like, all right, move on. Especially when they show all those pictures of Michelle Yeoh over and over and over. You're like, all right, get it moving. There isn't a second wasted in Moonlight. Every performance in Moonlight is much better than every performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once. All the impact you talked about, it's impact in 3 different people, created visually, put together beautifully, and you feel every second of the pain, hope, and everything you want from Cairo.
Okay. So great. Love this for me. Love that I did this to myself.
Pardon me.
This is a tough one to throw into the speed round too.
Yeah, I know, because I didn't see Moonlight because it looks sad as fuck. I should probably watch it at some point.
It's very good.
Do we technically both pick A24 movies?
Yes.
Yes.
We are fucking hipster snobs.
I quit, Tim.
Would it have been better if I said Shape of Water?
I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a great fucking movie. None of you said The Godfather, which I thought was interesting.
I've never seen it. I don't have 5 fucking
You've
days
never
to watch
seen
a movie.
it? What?
I've seen it and I don't remember it.
Godfather Part 2? Okay.
Yeah.
I did see Godfather Part 3 though. That was fun.
The Departed. Mark. that was a good one, Bill. Mark, you're gonna lead us off on this one to close it out.
Sure. That was interesting in the weird way as you guys were explaining it. I think it, at least thematically, kind of picked similar films in that ring.
Yeah.
Like, but I think I did end up leaning slightly with Amaru on this one. I think you both did a pretty good job setting up your movies. I think Rue just did a better job. I think of kind of showing at least thematic impact and at least the cultural impact of Moonlight.
Fun fact: I haven't seen Moonlight since the night of the Oscars in 2018, so the 2017 film Oscars. I make a habit of watching whatever won the year prior, the night of the Oscars. So that was the last time I saw it. So a lot of what Rue was saying was semi-fresh for me. I've only seen it a couple times. Saw Everything Everywhere a lot last year, so everything Bill was saying was pretty fresh. That being said, Moonlight, you won Best Picture. I went with Rue. I think that Rue overall, it sucks when you're in a bonus round situation and you just don't have ammo against your opponent. It's kind of the name of the game. Sometimes Bill was very clear from the front. He's like, "Fuck, I haven't seen Moonlight."
That's why I avoided any mention of it in anything I said.
Correct. And while I think I don't know if Rue likes Everything Everywhere or not, but the things that he said about it, while I disagree, they were very good points. Jamie Lee Curtis being maybe not even the best person from that movie that was nominated for supporting actress to win. Again, I disagree, but I agree at the same time with his points in the sense of the argument. His points about the generational trauma and everything that he brought up. His great examples of actors and actresses from the movie. I thought he just did a really great job of painting why Moonlight over Everything Everywhere All at Once was the better Best Picture winner at the Oscars. I think Rue did a really great job on this, and it wasn't that close for me, honestly. I thought Rue did fantastic. Sorry, Bill, but
no, he absolutely.
I gotta paint it how I see it. So, Brian, your vote doesn't count. Where would you have gone and why?
I like but don't love either one of these movies, so I was not a giant fan of the picks. Don't even think this movie should have won that year, but based on the debate, Amaru.
All right, so that means your winner, Rue Moses. We are going to start post-match interviews. We're going to start by talking to Bill. Bill, fantastic job tonight. A final score of 3-2 in favor of Rue, but really great. A lot of the votes were split.
Except for the last one, but that was well deserved. He was. You could clearly tell he's done this more times than me. So
that's fair. Bill, I think that as I said up at the top, you maybe underestimated yourself a little bit coming into Fanzone last year. I think a lot of us did. And I think you continue to prove yourself and get better and better. I know you say you fly off the cuff or whatever, but I see you looking at your notes off in the corner. I see what you're doing.
This is a grocery list. I'm not even kidding.
My bad.
I'm telling you, the more I try to write things down, just the worse it gets. I just try not to. So yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how serious you are, but when I played in this league, didn't take any notes. The one time I took notes, I lost to Jacoby. So I hear you there, brother.
Yeah, I took extensive notes for my Kirk match, and he punched my asshole inside out.
I 100% understand. I am better at flying off the cuff.
Yep.
So anyway, I think you did fantastic tonight, like you always do. Rue was always going to be a tough opponent.
Oh yeah.
So I think that coming back after the tournament, Rue is like I said, a tough opponent out of the gate. But that being said, I thought you did fantastic, and I'm happy to be here for the first of the Bill Rue matchups that are coming up. I'm gonna be there for the other one that I know you guys are thinking about. I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Oh, I can't fucking wait.
But Bill, your thoughts on the match overall tonight?
No, this is actually a blast. Like, this is like the first time in recorded history. Like, I'm fucking fine, whatever. I don't care. Like, also, if it came down to just that last question, 100% Rue deserved every minute of this win. He just clearly outclassed me. He's been doing this longer than me. So I had no illusions of what was going to happen, but I'm just glad like it kept it competitive. We both took some good shots, but at the end of the day, like we're friends. This is fun. This is great for me. Bring him in here. I want to say congratulations to this guy. It's fine. I don't care. I will yield my time. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in.
Great. Let's do it.
Awesome time, sir. I am so thrilled.
Great time.
Not only that,
So
I
beautiful.
gifted you with the Ip Man movies. You are welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. I had never seen them before, so I greatly appreciate that.
It's so good.
I guess I will say, since we have Rue in here, Bill, you still have a positive record.
Which is just that alone and of itself is fucking crazy.
You're 4-3 now. And your losses are against Kirk in the title match, then your next loss against Koho, and then against now Rue
for the title. Yeah.
You want to see Rue again? You want to go up against Kirk again, Koho, or someone brand new? Like, what are you thinking going forward for you?
I mean, I would. This was so much fun. I would do this every day of the week. This is great. So, Nazario scares me. No.
He's not a fun person.
He's my landlord. Believe me, like it's nuts. So yeah, I believe me. I know what it's like. Who would be? Okay. I'm gonna pitch something to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna pitch a fun DMC Civil War. Because me and Will Cohen, not only would the picks be garbage, because they would be, because we both like some garbage. I'm fully aware. I like some hot garbage. I mean, it is Penguin hot garbage. It is like that. But I think Will's is worse somehow. And I love him for it. And I just think this would just be insane. I think that would actually be a lot of fun. I think it shouldn't even count for points or records. We should just yell at each other for fucking an hour.
Maybe we can do that for fun. I was going to say he's 0-2, so I don't know if we can make that happen.
Fair.
But
Robert would also be fun. That'd be
that is more doable.
That one would be a good time.
I can more logically.
Could I play Brooklyn again so he could beat me soundly? Because I still feel bad about that. I really do. I've never felt more bad about winning a match in my life because Brooklyn's my friend. So
that was your knockout, I believe.
Bar
right?
is. Oh yeah, no, it was.
Yeah,
Bar in this league, I forget. Is Bar in this one? Because he's
Bar is in this league. Yeah,
fucking never. I've never played him in anything either.
That
and
is
we're
actually
teammates.
Possible as well.
Yeah, that.
Although I feel bad.
That would way more fun.
He's also 2-4, and he has a knockout. So that he kind of deserves a win.
We both have kind of the same number of matches.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go ahead. Bill, thank you. We're going to go ahead and talk to Rue today. Rue, fantastic job. A win. Another win under your belt. You are now at, as I pull back up, 6-4 with a knockout. You've upped your 2023 clean sweeps to 5 clean sweeps, which is pretty impressive. That's, I believe, the most other than one other person, which was Cameron Holtzman, who had a wicked impressive 9 clean sweeps. But otherwise, by far, in second place with 5. This is insane. You're going on to another match after this. You're playing at like the top of your game right now. That was an insane match. How are you feeling, man?
So I've had 10 matches, right?
Yes.
I got knocked out once. I knocked somebody else out once. Every other match has been sudden death, and I'm tired. I am so tired of sudden death. Oh my gosh. But that was great. That was amazing. I love Bill to death. I'm so glad I finally got to play him. I'm very happy to pull this one out. I was still a little salty from the sudden death loss from Boat. So I was really like, let's not do this again. Because I debated in another league, and I have 50 million sudden deaths in that league as well. And can I just win one? I'd like to just win one again. That'd be nice. Because sudden death is scary, but a lot of fun. Enjoyed it very much.
Rue, I don't know if I can like predict the future or not, but you're going up against a couple people in your next match, which they're both pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna end in a sudden death or not, but you're gonna be playing the winner of last week's match. So you at home know who won. We do not here at this time. It hasn't shot yet, but you're gonna play the winner of Robert Kastner and Nazario Montenegro. Robert, somebody who has played in contender matches, not quite gotten up to that title match shot yet. Nazario played for a title here, and also is Nazario, so he likes to, yell at not only you, but the judges as well. It's going to be great. Can't wait. Your thoughts on that?
So just like with Bill, I've actually played Robert in something, but Robert is somebody I've been wanting to play in debate for a minute, and I missed out on both Bill and Robert in the tournament when I lost. But outside of, I think in debate, there's a three-headed monster of people who absolutely love to just yell and get the most joy out of this league. It's me, Cody, and Nazario. Like, I don't think I've seen anybody else other than us three. And Bill's right there too, who just love doing this shit. So that would be amazing and scary. And yeah, I'm probably, either way it goes, I'm probably doing another sudden death, unfortunately.
Awesome. I can't wait. Rue, is there anything else to maybe Nazario or to Robert that you would want to say as a message to them? Because whoever won that match, they already won. They're watching this after the fact. Any message that you have for them in the next match?
The same thing I say to everybody else. I'm winning. That's it. I'm going to win.
God, I love it. Okay, Rue, we'll see you in the next one. Can't wait. Let's get final thoughts starting from Mark.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this was fun. I'm glad I agreed to be here. So got to talk some oceans, some Captain America, fun stuff. And then we went off on a weird bend when we talked about Batman villains. I don't know what the hell happened there, but it was a great time. I'm glad. And Rue, whoever he faces next one, gonna give him a hell of a match.
All right, and Brian, final thoughts from you.
I agree. We got to talk about a bunch of good films and then the Batman. I totally agree with that sentiment. No, this was everything we thought it'd be. I mean, great debate, also great fun. It's nice when you have two competitors who are, big in the competition, but they're still friendly. It's not nothing, no animosity between them. So it was fun.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thank you to the players, Rue and Bill. Thank you to Brian and Mark for judging this one. And thank you to Kirk and Cody behind the scenes for helping write the questions. I have been Tim. We will see you guys next time with another great debate. But until then, have a great night. See ya.
There we go. Thank you very much. Please come again. We have a lot more groceries.